Where your treasure is, there will your heart be also. God has given us unlimited treasures in His Word. Every time we open it, we can discover a new treasure or admire an old one. What will we find today? Here's Carla Early with Treasure Hunt in the Word.
Which would you prefer to face, a fiery furnace or a lion's den? Daniel and his friends didn't get a choice between the two, though they could have decided to avoid them altogether. Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego could have bowed down to Nebuchadnezzar's statue, and no one would have ever noticed them. And Daniel could have stopped praying for 30 days, or at least he could have kept his windows shut and silently prayed in a corner where no one would see. But these 4 men chose God, knowing it meant certain death. Daniel must have been out of town on official business when King Nebuchadnezzar set up his idol and tried to force everyone to worship it. And Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego must have already died, or at least retired, since Daniel probably was in his 80s, so they weren't mentioned in the lion's den story. But we see so many similarities in these two stories. These 4 men didn't back down when faced with a life-threatening situation. They boldly stood up to their accusers. Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego said, "O Nebuchadnezzar, we have no need to answer you in this matter. If that is the case, our God, whom we serve, is able to deliver us from the burning fiery furnace, and He will deliver us from your hand, O king. But if not, let it be known to you, O king, that we do not serve your gods, nor will we worship the gold image which you have set up." And Daniel's life had already preached enough to King Darius for him to say, "May your God, whom you serve continually, rescue you." But Daniel doesn't say a word in his defense. Neither Daniel nor his 3 friends wavered or compromised. They acted in complete faith and trust, wholeheartedly refusing to worship anyone or anything else except their God. They were guilty of the charges brought against them, and they chose to obey God rather than man. God, too, remains constant throughout these 2 stories. As we know, following the Lord does not exempt us from hardships or problems. God isn't going to rescue us from all of our problems, but He does promise to walk with us through them instead of rescuing us from them. In both of these stories, God's presence remained a constant. Nebuchadnezzar declared astonished, "Did we not cast 3 men bound in the midst of the fire? I see 4 men loose, walking in the midst of the fire, and the form of the 4th is like the son of the gods." Many scholars call this a theophany, Jesus Christ coming in human form in the Old Testament well before He was born. Daniel told the king, "My God sent His angel," perhaps also a theophany, "and shut the lion's mouth." And these 2 miraculous rescues gave God all the glory. Both kings, the Babylonian king Nebuchadnezzar and the Medo-Persian king Darius, recognized these men's God as the sovereign, powerful God over all. And they wrote a letter to all their people praising this God and urging people to worship Him. How can we be like Daniel and his friends? How can we choose to live for the Lord in big ways and small ways in our lives? How can we prepare our hearts to be bold, courageous, fearless, and faithful to our God as they were?
You can contact us at treasurehuntintheword@gmail.com. We'd love to hear the treasures God has given you through His Word. You can listen to other episodes on our website, which you can find in the description below. Thank you for listening, and remember, where your treasure is, there will your heart be also.